from Bass Hole Studios in Hollywood, California. You're listening to I'm an Asshole with Doug Bass. We've all been one, so let's talk about it. Now, here's your host, Doug Bass.
He's an asshole, sir.
He's an asshole.
All right, everyone. I'm an asshole, and you probably are too in some capacity if you're listening to the show. I thank you for listening to it. My name's Doug Bass. I'm your host on the I'm an Asshole podcast. Please follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast fix. Fix yourself up and subscribe. That way you don't miss all the excitement here on the Asshole Show. We got a great show today. Also, check us out on patreon.com/asshole show. Follow us on Instagram at Doug Bass Comedy and Asshole Podcast. All those places. Just do it, all right? I'm tired of talking about it. Just do it. Thank you. All right. We got a great show today. Comedian and actor, the great Jamie Kennedy, is on the show. I'm really excited. We had a great interview. We sit down, we talk about all kinds of things, comedy, films, Los Angeles, our love for Los Angeles in the current state that it's in. It's a depressing state, but we still love it. So we get into that stuff. You know Jamie Kennedy from all the big movies he's been in. So enjoy the interview. Jamie Kennedy, everyone. All right, we are here with the great actor and comedian, Jamie Kennedy. Jamie, how are you, man?
What's up, bro? How are you, man?
I'm doing well. Thanks for giving us your time here to do the I'm an Asshole podcast. Appreciate it.
Dude, are you kidding me? I love it, bro.
Awesome. All right, well, Jamie, we know you from great films like Scream, the Scream series, Bowfinger, Malibu's Most Wanted, Jamie Kennedy Experiment.
Yeah.
I mean, the list goes on. It's good to have you here. I know we've talked in the past. Did you do a show tonight? Did you do comedy tonight?
I did a Zoom.
How was it?
It was great. It was really, really fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was like a Tosh.0. Ben Morrison, he has like a show called Super Funny, and then we put a lot of slides in and stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's cool that you're doing getting back into the stand-up world. I mean, I know it's still Zoom with COVID and everything. It's just a weird time for stand-up, I would say. I mean, you've been doing a couple outdoor shows, I see. Those probably are just as weird, I would say, but there's an audience at least, right?
Yeah, no, it's different, but it's actually kind of more freeing. Feels really artistic, you know. It's like how comedy should be. It's basically people are coming because they want to see comedy, right? It's not like Friday night something to do. It's like, yo, let's see comedy. And
yeah,
they're finding out who they want on their social media, and they're going to parks, they're going to carports, they're going to, I mean, the resilience of people is astounding, and the creativity is also astounding. And the amount of people in our community that have opened up cool, creative shows are just,
yeah,
they're incredible.
It's really people starting to think outside the box during this time. It's so crazy. It's like, outdoor shows, drive-in shows where people are clapping, plastic hands out windows and stuff. Podcasts, YouTube. It's like these are all the things that are like keeping us creative people going, I would say, during this time. It's just
it's just a great time for people, and I think these tools have really stepped it up. The cameras and the iPads and the YouTubes and the Rode, and all the equipment, and it's the roadcasters, and
yeah,
everyone's becoming a content creator. Not that they weren't before, but they're really doing it now.
Yeah, it's like people are focusing on it more. You know, I mean, myself included, I've been diving into this stuff lately. I'm really enjoying your podcast and YouTube channel. Hate to break it to you with Jamie Kennedy. Go subscribe to that if you guys haven't yet. The YouTube channel is great. You got clips up there. I really like that you are like giving advice to your fans. You know, and aspiring creative actors, directors, all kinds of different people. Stories on there, you know, how you get cast in Scream, working with Wes Craven. There's just like so many cool like things that you're putting out there for content that people really haven't had access to before, you know, and now is a good time for you to like just give out this information to your fans. So it's really cool that I see you doing that.
Thank you. Yeah, you know, I just am kind of moved to do it, you know, like I just have so many ideas, you know. I think that YouTube in the last 18 months has hit critical mass. I know it's been around for 15 years.
Yeah.
And I was on it very early, you know, and I made some money early. That was when brands would pay you to do an ad.
Yeah,
and they wanted
exactly.
to figure out, you know, like that was around Star Wars kid time. And you know, your agents, your managers or whatever, like, you know, what are you doing? This is public access TV. And,
right.
You know, but you get these views, you'd be like, this is cool. And then I remember like people had videos of me and they're getting all these views. I'm like, where's my fucking check? And then I like signed up, and then they didn't really start the creative program until like 2010 or 2011.
Yeah.
And then I always had a channel, but I was still on my old system, you know? And I mean, look, I was MySpace. It took me a minute to get on MySpace, but I was still early because I was still trying to just do everything from my website. I was early with that. And I had a company build me my website, and I'm like, I'm going to charge a fee and all of this stuff. So I love autonomy.
Yeah.
But it was just the bandwidth wasn't there, and really the traffic wasn't there. And I think that what we see now is that YouTube is the second biggest search engine in the world.
Yeah, it's like people go there like that is the new handbook for anything. Like I am on there like,
yes,
I don't know how to fix this fucking thing. I don't know how to do this. How do I make this meal? Like just go on and there's a video like describing what to do, and it's like it's amazing.
It really is, and there's so much I can say with it, but it's like I'm trying to think like a 3-pronged system. Remind me to bring this up. Creators today, TikTokers, with YouTube and my ideas, if you can remember that. And I'm going to tell you all these ideas. So here's what it is.
Let's hear 'em.
I think it was in The Social Network or the Billionaires Boys Club, which was based on that book. And they said Mark Zuckerberg made everyone narcissists. And they go, Mark's genius was not that. It was that he recognized everyone was a narcissist. And, you know, I wasn't on Friendster, but like I said, in 2004, I got on. Yeah, that was early. It's still kind of big in the Philippines. That's not a joke.
Oh, wow.
But
interesting.
But early on was MySpace. And before me, who's the earliest adapter, is Tom Green. Mm-hmm. He was on MySpace early. And then I got on, and I was like, celebrities or, you know, people. Because it was like, you have to remember, there was no connection to your fans. You were like, you were a mystique, and I was like, you know, a thing. So I was like, so then you're talking to real people, and people are like, well, this is so bizarre, and they're messaging you.
People would have to like go stalk you, like, or find you at a premiere or something like that.
100%.
With you. Yeah,
100%. They couldn't get to you, and then they were able to, you know, instant message you, and it was like. Whew. And so, obviously, all of these things came and certain people popped on different platforms. Yeah. And you thought, okay, well, that platform peaked and this one didn't. And now I think we're in a groove. Like, different platforms have made different people's careers, but now there are so many people, and this is actually the tool. This is a It's a phone.
Yeah.
It's headphone. YouTube, you have to use it. It is a tool, just like a camera. And I did a video today with a young creator, a really nice kid, and all these kids are 20, 21, and some of them know me, some of them don't, but they don't care about traditional media. I told my producer Kyle, he's the best of both worlds because he understands the storytelling and the craft it takes to make a great piece of content.
Right.
But he understands how to not overthink that piece of content. And they do it now. My generation gets very much, look, there's made great stuff, but we overthink stuff. The younger generation wants it right away.
They just put it out.
They could craft a little bit more. So that I'm trying to go on that happy medium. And what I'm trying to say is it's not going to go away. Everyone is going to monetize themselves and talk about cooking or cars or style halls or medical advice or massage therapy or stretch labs or sex workers or cartoonists, whatever, all types of shit. And it is critical mass. And I think it's only beginning. I know that sounds crazy because in the last year and a half, my guy who was working a lot of big YouTubers, it hit a new plateau.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things now, so many apps, like the new one, like Clubhouse, that's new now. Everyone's on that, and it's hard to keep up with all of them. I would say it's like you either got to dabble in all of them or really pick one and focus on trying to get the most out of that one. I don't know. I don't know.
I think
I don't know where they crack.
You dabble.
Exactly.
You dabble in all, and you use them as tools.
Yeah.
You Twitter, you announce something here,
right?
And then you put a clip on your Instagram, and the main video can live on YouTube,
right?
And then you can put other clips on TikTok, which I do. Now I'm going to open up a Twitch.
Yeah, and Twitch is another one. Yeah,
I've been aware of all this stuff forever, and I use some of it, but it is a lot. But now that I have help, it's the way to do it. And I think, and what I wanted to say with my 3-pronger is that it's so much more enjoyable, dude. I have a big self-tape tonight for a big show on a big platform.
Nice.
And I stopped to do this because I can't control that. I like it, but it's going to go out in the fucking universe. It's like a scratcher.
Right.
It's like, yo, dude, I'm me. I can make my own content. People appreciate me. Doesn't mean I don't want to play in traditional media, but the appeal is becoming less and less for me. And I'm wondering if that is just me or I'm an old man, or if it's hitting critical mass, because I just feel like a lot of people feel like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm actually watching more stuff on YouTube these days than Netflix or anything. It's like I'll watch stuff on those platforms, but like you said, this is stuff that's not going to be anywhere else. Like you talking about a topic or your favorite actor going on or comedian or whatever. It's it's personal and it's enjoyable, and you're not going to get that on a Netflix or an HBO Max or whatever. It's going to be studio controlled and whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's
and what I want to do on my channel is just really break down the fourth wall, because I hate that bullshit. I hate people trying to keep all the fake secrets that they're not even really fake about.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You're being genuine on there, and people get to see a real slice of who you are. And I love it. For myself, releasing my short film that I did last year on there, and just you just get it out there, and people immediately will watch it, respond in real time, and you can go back and forth, and it's just you don't have to go through the process of all the bullshit.
Yeah, it's the worst. The bullshit is. And by the way, your short film, it was amazing. I was such a fan of it, bro.
I liked the film that you made too about LA. Were you walking around black and white? It was great.
It was fun, dude. It was definitely inspired by you. I mean, it was a shorter version, but yeah, man, I wanted to check out the places.
Yeah, what I loved about it was my film I shot the first week that LA shut down. And then like yours was like, oh, this is still going on. It's even darker now than it was last March. And look at this shit. Like look at the places closed. Look at like all these people living on the streets. It's like it's like a war zone almost. And it's like, you were down, you're in Hollywood. I live near the ArcLight where you shot some of it and stuff. And I'm just like, I walk through there every day, and I'm just like, man, when is this coming back? Because I know you love LA as much as I do, and it's sad, man, and it's a scary time for the city. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. Like, if anybody who's thinking that LA is not going to be LA, I think that's just crazy.
It's going to bounce back. I don't know when.
Of course.
I don't know when.
But I don't know when either. But look, I mean, it's going through a rough patch, and I haven't left the city in a year.
Yeah.
And I have no desire to leave the city. I don't want to leave it because I wanted to go on the road, but I feel safe here. I feel like this is my home.
Yeah.
And and it's kind of a great time to be here. Obviously all that stuff is not great.
No, but yeah, being
there's a lot. It's more open, and a lot of people are leaving, and I don't know why they are leaving, but
I don't either. It's actually, yeah, you're right. You're right. It's a great time to be here, especially if you've lived here for at least 10 to 20 years. I'd say you've seen the change that it's gone through. I mean, you've never seen it quite like this, but like, you appreciate there's no traffic. There's like, it's quiet at night. There's like the air. The air is like a little cleaner.
It is very quiet.
Yeah, it's nice. Like in a weird way. It's just such a different city right now, and I don't think we'll ever see it like this again. Once it bounces back to what it's supposed to be. So it's kind of like cherishing these moments of the city and taking it all in different ways.
Yeah, but I don't know if LA will be. I think there's a lot of people that are actually kind of. I don't know. I want to say they're over LA. I see this on YouTube a lot,
Yeah.
And there's people from the business that have left. There's people from tech that have left. There's other just normal families that have left.
A lot of people have left.
Yeah, I've seen like a disdain, but I mean, it hasn't been crazy. Probably like 150,000 families or something I read, which is a good amount, but it's not going to make that big of a difference.
No, but it's like the problem that they're having is like, either they're frustrated that like everywhere else in the country is open and, California and LA is not.
But it's not.
A lot of them are not.
The country is not open.
Some cities, yes, but not a lot of it, yeah.
And what are you going to do? You're going to go, if you go to a city that is that's open, but you're snowed in, or you're going to a city where that's cold right now, you have to wait. Florida's open. I went to Florida. I got COVID coming back, and that was back in October. But it's like Florida is open, and you're gonna risk getting infected. I mean, you can get infected here, obviously too, but it's like. Yeah, Florida is interesting because everything is open there. Some people are wearing masks, some people are not. I don't know. They're not taking it too seriously, I'll tell you that. But that's a whole other thing. That's why. But I don't. I think for the most part, people in LA take it very seriously.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I don't know. I think that LA has everything, and I just will never leave.
No, yeah, I love it. I'll always try to be here. I think I don't.
But to answer your question is, I do see different industries of people saying they don't have to be here to do what they do. Just like New York is saying that, and if people can work remotely, I still think Hollywood's hub's going to be here. But sure, there's a lot of productions, and most castings are Zooms and stuff. So that can make it different. But if there's sound stages here shooting shows, you want to be there. But there's sound stages in Atlanta. There's sound stages in Louisiana. So
exactly,
maybe it will change.
And that's the thing. It's like people don't feel the need to be here because their job is remote. They could be anywhere now. They don't want to pay the high rent, or trying to buy a house here for the average Joe is definitely difficult. So that's the one thing that I think is turning people away from the city, because they're like, why am I gonna spend this much money on a house and property tax when I can get this in some other city and still come back here. I don't know. It's like, but at the same time, the rent is so cheap now compared to, you know, what it used to be, and the housing market as well. So it's a great time to like move here if you've always wanted to, you know, and just, you know, wait it out for things to go back to normal, I'd say. But it's that I love the city. Like I love the food. I love the people, the places to go. Like, you know, you got the beach, you got the mountains an hour away. It's like there's no other place like it. So it's like if you do want to move to another city, go. You know, it's like us Angelinos. Like we're like, yeah, like the less that are here, like it actually makes the city great. Like when I made that film last March and I was able to drive to every location in the city within 15 to 20 minutes, I was like, this is amazing. This city would be perfect if I could do this every time. Like that was beautiful.
Yeah, it's insane, dude. It's I'm all about it. From the Santa Monica to downtown to up north. It's I agree. Yeah. I agree, man.
Yeah. So the show is called I'm an Asshole. So what I like to ask my guests usually on the show is if they have a moment in their life that they may have been an a-hole. It can be an isolated incident, a chunk of time in your life. Maybe you're one now and you're dealing with it. Maybe someone thought you were an a-hole and you really weren't, but there was like a miscommunication. Anything along those lines. A story that you might want to share with the listeners.
Have you been an asshole a
lot? You know what I do? I snap sometimes at people. Like I'm a pretty nice guy, but I like lose my temper like in an argument or something, and I'll like snap at someone. But like, there's definitely. I feel like everyone has been an asshole at some point in their life. Even if there was something you did as a kid that you're like, oh, that was pretty shitty. Like, why did I do that to that kid or whatever? You know, like something like that. Like, I feel like we've all gone through some sort of like weird either chunk of time in our life, or even if it was just one time or something like that. I don't know if there's anything you can recall in your own personal life.
I mean, I want to say that this episode is called I'm Not an Asshole. But the problem is that people think you can be an asshole.
Right.
And I think with my, you know, lot in life is, you know, it's taking me to about 50 where I'm at now to be like, not everyone's going to like you, you know, and I go out of my way to put my best foot forward. But there's definitely tons of people that probably think I'm an asshole. And I try to make them not think I'm an asshole, but it's just hard because people have their own baggage.
Right.
So there are definitely times where I may have just said something to somebody and they thought I meant something else and they just took it like
misconstrued.
Oh, and I'm the fucking, and they'll write about me on the internet.
Oh,
like he's a fucking asshole. And I'm like, I don't even remember that meeting. Like, where did that happen? Or I was at Trader Joe's. I ran out too quick. I'm sorry, but
do you read a lot of like your fans like writing like if there's trolls like coming after you with bullshit? Do you read a lot of that stuff? Do you take it personally?
Oh yes,
yeah,
definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely read it. Definitely take it personally, but it doesn't hurt me as much as it used to, unless it's like you're vulnerable, like you really try to make something and people don't like it. That's hurtful. But yeah, right. I mean, we're in this business. Anybody who says they don't read their shit is a liar.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't believe that.
Yeah.
But in terms of an asshole, I think the times I've been an asshole is when, you know, when you're doing a lot. Our life, our business has. It gets very demanding, and I think the worst time I'm an asshole is in the morning. You know,
yeah, you're not a morning person.
Oh, I fucking hate the morning, and having to do like radio, or going to like press or catching planes, and so there's definitely some DJs that probably. I'm sorry, I wasn't the most lively.
Yeah,
there's definitely some airline,
that's
attendants,
rough. Yeah.
Ticket takers. I'm sorry too. There's definitely some. Coffee baristas I probably was a little snappy with. So there's definitely a lot of people that I met in the morning.
I mean, this is all stuff before the caffeine kicks in, really, when you think about it. Yeah, I mean,
but in general, I try to put my best foot forward, but you know, you're not a perfect person, obviously, but the problem is when you try to do it, people still think you're an asshole, and you're like, yo, come on, man. I really went out of my way there not being an asshole. I could have been more of an asshole, but you're still an asshole. So sometimes you can't win, but I apologize.
No, you can't please everyone, and that's a good way to look at it. And yeah, I mean, there's definitely times where it's like you think you're doing the right thing, and then someone else thinks it's not the right thing, and you know, you just can't please everyone when it comes down to it, you know.
Yeah.
Has anyone who's like at a show of yours or something, has there been like an asshole like in the crowd that like really stands out as far as like a horrible memory, like during a set or show or anything like that, like anything crazy?
It's too crazy. There's not like, you know, I made a whole movie about like heckling.
Yeah.
And I think one of the weirdest times was a guy, and I'll say his name. I haven't talked about the guy in a while, but his name was his name was Peter Grumbine, and he wrote for like a hipster, you know, magazine called Giant, and this was in the aughts, and he wrote like a review of my special or something, and it was like, this is like the Kennedy that should have been killed.
Oh my God. Like, what?
Pretty aggressive stuff. Like, and he's like a dude that like would shop at like Jet Rag and stuff. So
yeah.
I was making Heckler, and I was like, I gotta interview this guy. And so I knew where he was gonna be. And so I ambushed him with an interview on camera. And then he was kind of freaked out, and then he was on camera with me.
Oh man.
But then I found out later that he was a comedian.
Oh, he was?
He was trying to be.
So he was he was like a reviewer / comedian or whatever?
Which is not, you can't be that.
You can't do that.
You're not. No,
that's like being a critic. You can't be a film director and then critique other films like Roger Ebert or some shit.
Exactly. You either got to be in or be out.
Yeah.
And he was doing the both, and I was like, this is no. So I don't know where he went, but he was very, very. He was hot. He did not like me, and that was that was hurtful. I mean, but that's he was a good crux of that movie. But he just never broke. He never like said any positive thing about me, and I thought, what did I do to this guy? Then I learned about it. It's like other people's things, you know. Some people are not going to like you, but it's like it's got nothing to do with you.
No, exactly.
It's their reaction to you.
It's more, it's more what they got going on, and they chose to pick a bone with you at some point or something like that. You don't have to watch it. You don't have to consume it. But there's a few people that troll me on my channel now. Oh, yeah. YouTube is just built for that shit. I mean, you're welcoming that when you put yourself out there on YouTube, for sure. What about, don't you think the time is right for, when this all is over, for you to come back and start pranking people? I think the world is going to want that at some point again.
I would think so, but my question is that are we going to be able to do it without getting canceled?
That's true. That is true. There's definitely, I think there would have to be a whole new department like added on to your show, as far as like, is this okay? Is this, is this kosher to do this one? It is okay. Yeah, I mean, people don't. Dude, humor is out the window. So I post all those clips from the Judge Show, right? Yeah.
And now that this one clip is kind of going viral, like it's 10 clips deep and it's like blowing up in the views, and people are like, this judge is so mean. Why is this judge a bitch? She's not a very good judge. And like, not only do they not know it's me,
right,
they like think and they think it's mean. And I'm like, dude, I'm dealing with like people with like the ability. I'm not dealing with not math majors here. Like the new group of people coming up in the world are like, yo, man, they can't read the room at all. Yeah. And not only that, how dare you enter that room?
I know. It is. Yeah, you're right. It would be hard as far as like the one thing I think that the advantage would be is that everyone has been so shut off for like a while, like, just socially, publicly, that like if anything happened, like once people started getting back into society, they may not expect it's a prank. So they'd be more likely to be like, "Oh my God, this is look at this happening! Like this is crazy," you know. So like I think they'd be more by surprise. But you're right. It's like you're gonna offend someone, or you're gonna get canceled, or whatever. And it's like it's an interesting time for like all this stuff. It's like, yeah, you can't pull a prank on someone and then they'd be like, "Well, you touched me, or something fell on me, or you know, I don't know, like whatever excuse they want."
I was really good at like not touching anybody. Even that I knew. But like, dude, people will say they got emotional distress. Like,
yeah,
people will say that, you know, they you pull a prank in a bathroom and you can't take a shower.
There'll be lawsuits. I mean.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure these.
So the world needs it, but people can't handle it. Because, but it's going to be a good divide, because there's going to be people that really want humor, and then there's going to be people that just, dude, humor is under attack, dude.
It's
I'm not kidding. Like,
I know
humor, the amount of people that take shit lit. Because think about it, all right. So you're a comedian, okay, and you see all types, okay. Well, not only am I a comedian, I've been in it for a long time, and so if you watch comedy, the people that enjoyed comedy were people that like to laugh. So you're drawn to comedy, and if you went to a comedy club or a comedy show, it's because you wanted that, and those were the consumers of it. And so you wouldn't hear any backlash, because people are like, this is what I'm into. This is what I fuck with. Just like if you went to an AC/DC concert and all this stuff. But now, because everybody has the talk back button,
yeah,
there's you see in the world how many humorless people there are. And so a lot of people don't like comedy because they don't get it. So the issue is, maybe comedy only represented 0.8% of the world. Well, now 99% of the world can be heard.
Yeah.
That's why it's fucked.
I mean, it's definitely going to have a rebuilding stage, I would say, as far as like, yeah, like what is appropriate? What can we say? Like, what are people going to react towards, like when it goes back to like live shows? Like, I don't know, either people are going to be like really like thankful to be at like a live show at a club again, dude, or it's going to be like...
We're talking about two different things. People love going out to shows.
Yeah.
Comedy. And they're very thankful. Comedy's actually thriving now in terms of this, because people, when they come out, they're so into it. What I'm saying is, it's not what you can say. It's that not only do people not want you to say something, they try to cancel you from ever saying anything again.
Yeah.
And it's a joke. So it's not getting any better. This is not dealing with COVID. This has to do with humorless.
Yeah. And then if they try to like take whatever joke you said and it blows up, and like, you know, you're going down that canceled road culture kind of thing, it's like you can't even retract with some kind of like, well, this was a joke. This is, you know, it was meant to sound like this or whatever. It's like you're already like down this like shit show path, and it's like, oh my God, how do I get back out of that? And then the internet is just taking over it at that point or whatever. And it's a tough hole to climb out of if you get stuck down that kind of thing, I would say.
I can only imagine.
Yeah. I mean, you got to be careful. It's just, yeah, it's even with like Twitter. It's like, yeah, it's like go back and you got to like think about like, did I tweet something? Did I say something? I don't know. Like how do you check your internet history of like something you said like, you know, 5 years ago or whatever, you know? Even longer than that. I mean, it's scary. It's a scary time for comedy for sure.
Yeah, dude. It ain't no joke.
It's like a horror movie. It's like Scream. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Scream, dude. People survive.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, if you get killed, you're not coming back for the sequel. It's like your career is done almost. You gotta reinvent yourself. Yeah, exactly. But
I think we have to have pockets, you know, and people that consume it and like it, and that's it. And that's the way it's been. It's never been, there's always been pushback to art or artistic expression, but there's never been this sweeping swath of a sword that can just cut so many things down. So quickly, and big corporations have never backed it so much. So it's like, people be controversial, but you didn't have like, Clorox going, we are going to stop
Right.
supporting the, it's like now, like everyone, it's basically all money. It's people are scared they're going to lose money.
It's all money. I mean, the same thing, like, it's just like, like even like the Bruce Springsteen like situation. It's like,
what happened there?
like
I heard something.
He got a DUI in November in Jersey.
But I heard he didn't even have a DUI. I heard somebody was like, he went over to a fan, wanted to take a picture, and the fan offered him a shot.
That's exactly what happened. I guess he took the shot on his motorcycle, and a state trooper saw that happen and pulled him over and nailed him for, a DUI. He blew like 0.2, which is, nothing. And
what's the illegal?
0.8, 0.08, something like that.
So was he over the limit?
Oh, no, he's way under.
So why would he get a DUI if you're under?
Apparently, because the officer saw him take a shot and he didn't get off his motorcycle, that's technically driving while intoxicated because he's taking alcohol behind a motor vehicle of some sort.
Oh my God! So this cop had it in for the boss.
And it's a state park, so it's like not a regular it's federal property or whatever. So he got nailed for that as well, having like an open container in a state park or some shit. But then
what?
Yeah. So the cop had it out for the boss. Absolutely. And the other thing that's interesting though, is this happened in November, and that Jeep Super Bowl commercial that just aired like a few weeks ago, was a big campaign for Jeep. And then 3 days after the Super Bowl, this story comes out, and then Jeep yanks the commercial off the air and says, we don't condone drunk driving, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, so Jeep didn't know about this, during the, production of the commercial? Bullshit.
What's the Jeep commercial?
It's Bruce driving Jeep around the middle of the country. It's a political kind of thing. And he's like, let's all meet in the middle. He says something like that. And it's, I know we're divided, but there's a church in the middle of the country that everyone meets at, something like that. But it's crazy because they would have lost millions of dollars if they had pulled the commercial after production and didn't put it in the Super Bowl. And they decided 3 days after to leak this story and then yank the commercial. So the fact that Jeep didn't know.
The commercial aired during the commercial, during the Super Bowl.
During the Super Bowl, yeah.
So they got the
press, and then 3 days after the Super Bowl, this story about Bruce getting a DUI breaks, and then the commercial is pulled from the internet or whatever, from
weren't
TV.
Were they going to keep wasn't it just a Super Bowl commercial? It wasn't going to air that much more?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's still online, but they yanked it from any future, TV airings or whatever. But the fact is that this DUI happened in November, way before the Super Bowl. The commercial was in the can, I'm sure, and they had already paid the ad spot to the Super Bowl. So it's if they knew about this in November and they didn't say anything and they just held on to it because they didn't want to waste their millions of bucks to for the Super Bowl ad. It's they had to have known. You know what I mean? It's
no, they're compliant.
Yeah.
So if they believe in it, then you're compliant, and you didn't want to lose money, or you don't believe in it and you didn't know. Right. That's bullshit. But the bottom line is he wasn't drunk. He was under the legal limit.
Right. So now he's got to go to court and fight it and all that shit.
He got busted on a technicality. That poor fan probably feels terrible.
Right. But yeah, who's the fan that gave him the shot? That's got to be horrible. And then the cop that fucking, nailed him is just all right, who's this cop,
But the thing is Jeep, no one cares about a Jeep, dude.
Right.
The Tesla's taking over, and soon everything's going to be self-driving. Jeep, you're going to be done.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. These corporations are bowing down to who? 5 people on the internet? It's so stupid.
Yeah.
It is so stupid. They don't get it.
That's what
There's
pisses me off.
There's going to be a sweeping change of people that do not give a fuck.
Yeah.
They don't get it, man.
They don't care.
It's there's a very small percentage of people that make the noise, and it looks bigger than it is, but it isn't as big.
Yeah. Now you're from
cancel culture only exists because corporations allow it.
Yeah, exactly. And even if you get named and someone did this, someone did that, your agent's dropping you, you're canceled from a campaign, whatever. It's All right, it's like, what are you supposed to do? You can't even go out there and even if it's just a rumor, there's no evidence and you're screwed pretty much. You're from Philly, right? Philly, Jersey area. Originally?
Philly, not Jersey.
Philly. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. I'm from North Jersey, so I thought you were East Coast. Yeah, that's cool. So you have a new movie coming out, right? Called Last Call. Is that correct?
I do. I just saw the trailer right now. It's awesome.
Yeah, it looks great. You and Jeremy Piven.
Yeah, it's me, Jeremy. It's Zach McGowan, Jeremy, Taryn Manning, Bruce Dern,
Nice.
Jack Gallagher is a great actor. Kathy Moriarty, Sherry O'Terry. It's a great group.
Does this take place like in the area that you grew up in Philly?
Yes, dude. So it's a crazy story. So it was kid I grew up with. He was a little younger than me, and we grew up okay, not like super wealthy, but not like super broke either. So kind of in the middle, I guess. And he was just a normal kid, but he was a super, super gifted athlete. And he was always the kid that was like a freshman starting varsity on baseball, football, all that stuff, basketball. He was like a 3-letterman. And anyway, by the time he was like a 4-year starter, by the time I remember seeing about him, I was already in LA. He had gotten a full-blown scholarship to Cornell. So he was the starting quarterback for Cornell, and they're probably, I guess, not as competitive in the sports, but they're known, but it's the greatest business school, and he became very, very, very successful. He's just one of the most successful people out of Philly, and he's a true Philly guy. It's Upper Darby, which he renamed it Darby Heights, and he wrote a love letter to the city, which grew up and raised him. And then my like best friend John is his cousin, and he's like, yo, Greg wants to make a movie. And I was like, okay, everyone says that. He's like, he wants you to be in it. And I was like, okay, well, great, have him send an offer. And then he sent like a really good offer, and then I read the script and it was really good.
That's awesome.
And then he put the whole cast together himself.
Really?
And he got a great cast. Yeah. And he put the money in himself, and he's like, look, I'm going to make this movie. And he just sold it to IFC. He's an inspirational guy. That's
awesome. So did they film it back where you grew up? Did they film in the actual location, the area?
We should have. No, where we filmed it, bro? We filmed it in
Canada.
And fucking Newark.
That's the area. That's the area that I'm not from Newark, but I'm from a couple towns over, like Montclair. Yeah,
we fucking filmed it literally behind like the airport. We stayed there for like 3 weeks, but we'd film all day and just pass out in our hotel. But it was like you can't go anywhere. I had to get a car because
it's dangerous.
Like they have an amazing bagel shop. That's a couple amazing restaurants. Like Newark has some dope restaurants. And there's a whole like burgeoning scene in Newark, but then we filmed a little bit back in my hood, but most of it was in Newark,
New Jersey.
And it was great. I mean, Newark had like
there's a lot going on. You know what? A lot films, and my good friend runs the New Jersey Motion Picture and Film Commission.
He was on set.
Dave Schoen. He had a big mustache, a curly mustache.
I think so.
He's in charge of that. I'm interviewing. I've known him since I was a kid. He's a great guy.
Newark had a lot. They were very, very. They were welcoming.
Yeah, they have a great tax incentive in New Jersey, so a lot of shit films in Newark, like Joker filmed in Newark. That was like Gotham City, like all that stuff. Like, so it's always doubling for like New York or some other urban kind of city like environment that is way more expensive, but you could shoot in Newark for cheap. So New Jersey's a great. I mean, that's where I'm from, so I'm always like proud. I'm like proud filmmaking New Jersey. That's where it all started, filmmaking with Edison and stuff. So I'm always like, I'm a big.
It did?
Yeah, I'm a big geek with that shit.
When did it start?
Edison invented the first motion picture camera back in the I forget
18 or 1900s.
I'd have to fact check that. I don't know.
And it was in New Jersey?
Yeah, New Jersey.
I don't think of Hollywood being started than Montclair, but maybe.
It wasn't Montclair.
Camden? Camden Wood.
West Orange, New Jersey is where Edison resided. Let's see. I mean, I can.
What year?
Let me see. West Orange, Edison.
Dude, Camden, bro. That's hard to get a film job.
Camden is that's bad. That's
gangster.
That's closer to Philly area. Yeah, Camden. Yeah, well, that's cool. So was it cool like to do a movie like about like the area that you kind of grew up in and stuff?
Yeah, but it's sad because a lot of people I know aren't there anymore, and there's been some deaths and stuff.
Right.
But it was nice. My brother came down, and then my friend came down, and so we relived some memories. It was nice.
Yeah.
It's I got a lot of
Where is this?
niceness
Is
in
this
my
movie?
heart for
Is
the
this
area.
movie going to be on? We can rent it on demand and stuff like that. Is that where it's going to be?
It's coming out March 19th,
Mm.
and it's coming out. I think like DirecTV has that program where you can buy the
Right.
movie now,
Video on demand.
and then I think it's going to be on all that, and then I think it's going to be on Prime and different stuff.
Sweet. Here's a question for you. If you had your name on a product, like Jamie Kennedy's blank, what would it be? Like in store shelves, like across the country.
Dude, I actually got something right now.
Do you?
People are having me be the ambassador for a sanitizer.
Jamie
And
Kennedy's
it's gonna
sanitizer?
No, it's called, just stay with me, it's called Jizz Off. But stay with me,
All right.
because these ladies are from Philly, and they're really smart, they're cool, and they're like, yo, ew, this stuff has got schmutz on it. It's got germs. It's like jizz, but it's not. But we know what we think jizz is. And when I used to rap, people called me Jizzy. So like jizz off, and so that's what it is. So
Jizz
I
off?
actually jizz off.
But it's
So I'm
sanitizer.
it's sanitizer. It's
Just
really
called
good.
Jizz
It's
Off.
off on your. Yeah, you can go to jizzoffproducts.com and
Jamie
get it.
Kennedy's jizz off. Is your face on the bottle?
Right now it's not, but it's on a carton. So it's like.
That's sweet. I like
But, I
that.
mean, hey,
That's pretty
I'll
good.
start with sanitizer and see.
Yeah, man. Why not? That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
What's the worst job you've ever had?
Man, dude, that's hard. I've had a lot of shitty jobs.
I mean, it can be way before you made it and all that stuff. Think back.
I think one of the hardest jobs, I had fun there, but it was hard. It was on 69th Street. That's in Philly, and there's a place called Kresge's.
Kresge's.
And Kresge's was like the junior version of Kmart. So it was like a Philly version of Kmart, and it was of that corporation. But it was spelled like Kresge's. And my boss came in, and I was making like $3.85 or $4.10 an hour. I remember, I think it was $4.10 an hour, which was pretty good.
Yeah.
I was like 85, maybe.
It's not bad.
And he said, he said, your job is to clean up the ice cream trays, take out the trash, mop these aisles,
Right.
blah, blah, blah. And he goes, get used to this. And he hands up like a scraper. And I said, well, what do I do that? I'm not here for painting. He's like, oh, no, it's not for painting. I said, what? And he goes, do you see all the black dots on the floor? And I said, yeah. And he goes, you see that lady chewing gum? And he said, yeah. And he goes, that's not part of the tile. And he goes, get to scraping. And so people don't remember this, but in the 80s, you could smoke in stores and put it out.
Yeah.
You could chew gum. People always chewing gum. People would put chewing tobacco and spit on the floor. Like, people were fucking crazy.
They just did whatever they
And
wanted.
so like there was a ton of Bubblicious. So every time you see black on the little black mounds of shit, that was gum.
That was
and
gum?
I was the guy that scraped it up.
Yeah.
I was in fucking 9th grade. But hey, it taught me humility.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone has to have a job of that caliber at some point to really appreciate, whatever they have currently in their life, or look back on it and learn from it in some weird way, or write a comedy bit about it, or whatever. It's all part of it. And It's always interesting to hear people's stories of that when they were growing up and had a job like that. I always find that fascinating.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. All right. And what's your favorite movie that you've done? Do you have one?
Dude, you can't ask that.
You can't? Why not?
Because I don't have just one. There's multiple movies I really like.
All right. What about the experience making it? Is there a favorite experience?
I've had some good experiences for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
I would say probably one of the funnest one of the funnest movies I ever did making was Boiler Room.
Boiler Room?
Yeah,
right.
That was really fun because that was with all young actors. We're all cocky. We're all coming up in the game, and we all had per diem, and we took over a hotel in New York City for 8 weeks. And it was just
that sounds dangerous.
It was.
What year was that again?
99.
99. Oh yeah, that's when I graduated high school.
Yeah, and so we would go stay in the city, and then every day go to Brooklyn and film, and that was fucking amazing. And then I would say Bowfinger was like summer camp and education.
That's my favorite movie of yours. Like the ensemble part that you're in. I mean,
that's such an underrated.
So underrated.
It's an underrated super gem, bro.
I saw that in the theater, I think 3 times as a senior in high school. I think I was when that came out. And
really,
and I love Steve Martin. I mean, I'm sure working with him was amazing. Is that on one of your top of your lists? He's working with Steve Martin. It's got to be.
Him and Eddie, dude.
Yeah.
That was a Mount Rushmore moment for me.
Yeah.
And to just be a fly on the wall on that set, and we just took over LA, dude. We shut down freeways. Yeah. That was like, Boiler Room was fun for like awesome, being like doing what you want with your boys and taking over New York. Bowfinger was like amazing for being like in the Hall of Fame comedians and filmmakers, and just like being a part of something that just was so big and just took over LA. We could do whatever we wanted. The doors just parted, and
that's and that's like another great LA movie that is totally underrated. Like, just the fact, like, me as like a young filmmaker, I was like, oh my god, this is how I make movies now. Like, still, it's like, oh my god, just get someone to be in it, like get the shot, pretty much, So it was I always appreciated that, and I thought it was just amazing the way it was written, and the ensemble cast, and you and Steve and Eddie are amazing in it, and it's just such a fun.
It's crazy.
It's a good time.
I was in it. I wish I kept in touch with people more. Like, it was just so. But that's what it is. I mean, some of these things you do, you get a friend for life, and then you make this thing, and then everyone goes their own ways. And but at that time, it was a whole summer, man.
Yeah.
It was like 4 months.
Frank Oz, another underrated director, I think.
Incredible.
He's amazing.
Incredible. Plans, knows exactly what he wants, has all the great timing in the world, but also will let you play.
Yeah.
And have a lot of freedom.
Yeah,
really fantastic.
I mean, he's made some great films. I mean, totally underrated in my opinion. It's just such a fun ride, that movie. I remember when I moved over here to Hollywood, because I used to live over in West Hollywood. I was like, oh my god! I looked up the Bowfinger house, the Bowfinger International Productions house.
It's right around the
and I didn't realize that. And I looked it up, and it was like on Google Maps, like it was like noted there. And I was like, oh, I gotta go check this out. So I like drove up the street and then drove down that street, and I was like, oh, there it is. And it's like totally. I mean, the last time I drove past it, it was still there, but it like looked totally like, like it's gonna fall apart any minute. It's just fake. It's just vacant. There's no one in it. I mean, now there's probably homeless people living in it, like squatting, but like it definitely was still there. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, that was like, because I always would, like, when I first moved here like 20 years ago, I was like, oh, I got to go like drive around to all the, locations where they filmed all my favorite movies and stuff. But that was one I had not seen, and I was like, oh, I live right here now. I got to go check it out.
Yeah.
So
that was a good memory, man.
yeah. All right. Well, Jamie Kennedy, thank you so much for being on the I'm an Asshole podcast. I appreciate it. Pretty much how we end this show with everyone that comes on is they just say their name and they say I'm an asshole, and then they go in peace.
Okay. You ready?
I'm ready.
I'm Jamie Kennedy, and I'm an asshole.
There you go, folks. Jamie Kennedy, and he's an asshole. All right, Jamie. Well, I want to thank you for taking the time to be on the show. Really appreciate it. Check out Jamie's YouTube page and his podcast and his new movie Last Call is coming out in March. You can order that on video on demand.
Hate to break it to you is the pod.
Hate to break it to you with Jamie Kennedy. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts and all those places. And it's also what, the 16th anniversary of The Son of the Mask, isn't that correct?
Today
is
the 16th anniversary of Boiler Room. Today.
Oh, both of them?
Both came out today. Isn't that cool?
Wow, they both came out at the same time? Different years. Yeah.
But the same day, yeah.
Son of the Mask. Yeah, so revisit that. That's also an underrated. There it is. There's the poster right there. Also a great film. A lot of fun with that one. I'm gonna have
a lot of people. I'm doing a YouTube video about it. There's a lot of mixed emotions on that one, but hey, I'm gonna tell all the behind the scenes.
I'm gonna have to rewatch it. I don't think I've seen that since it came out. But I remember laughing at it. All right, Jamie, thanks so much for being on the show. And remember, folks, don't be an asshole. But if you are, talk about it and laugh about it. We'll see you next time.